Okay.
Cool.
All right. So go ahead and start.
All right. So my name is Dylan Krug. I'm a senior at Ralston Valley, and I'm very happy to be here. And both here in this room recording this and here at Ralston Valley. Um, I guess a little background on my perspective of Ralston Valley. It was a school I fought to get to. I used to go to a middle school, a K through 12 school up in Gilpin County, and I didn't want to go to the high school there because we didn't think it was of the best caliber, and so my parents were divorced. My father wanted to take me down here, but my mother, who worked at the school, was really against it. And so for about 2 years, we tried to fight to get me to go down to the school until eventually we just undermined her, us up without telling her, and the first day of school, we told her we weren't going to go to Gilpin, that we were going to go down here.
Wow,
So
that's quite dramatic.
it was quite dramatic. um, but I've never for a second regretted my decision. I have made friends that I actually like here. I've engaged in a lot of activities I otherwise wouldn't be. And right now I'm going to a college that I don't think I would have gone to if I had stayed at Gilpin.
Where are you going?
Trinity College Dublin in Ireland.
Oh, no
So,
way.
Yeah, I'll be moving to Europe in 5 months, and that's something I'm looking forward
Wow,
to.
how exciting. Do you know what
Yeah.
you want to study?
I'm a biological and biomedical sciences major,
Wow.
so that'll let me to specialize in things like zoology, ecology, or environmental sciences. I'm leaning environmental sciences, although I haven't decided yet. I still have a few years.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are some of your experiences at Ralston Valley that made you really appreciate being here?
So the first freshman year was a little bit of a limbo because I was very socially awkward and still trying to figure out the whole making friends thing. But I really hit my stride sophomore year, where I joined the robotics team and was actually one of the founding members of the robotics team when it started that year. And just everyone I met in that program was incredible. And to this day, my core friend group are the kids who I met in the robotics club. So joining that club and doing track and doing a few other clubs, just a lot of extracurricular activities, really introduced me to different friend groups, introduced me to different people, and I sort of evolved sophomore year from a very awkward, introverted kid to an extremely extroverted, very outgoing, very talkative child.
And
And
do you feel like you attribute that to belonging to clubs like the
oh
robotics
yeah,
clubs and
I wasn't exaggerating when I said that the kids in the robotics club were the first friends I've made that I actually liked. And that's not to, hopefully, old friends at Gilpin won't hear this because they were fine. But Gilpin, my grade was like 25 kids. And so I was kind of stuck with people that I normally otherwise might not get along with. But I hung out with them because I had no other options. But RV, where I have 500 kids in my grade, I can pick and choose the nerds that I think are the best to be around. And so I just generally love being around my friends and love all my friends. And I think it's just such an incredible experience to be able to find people like this and really find a sense of community. After sophomore year, ever since then, I've never really felt like an outcast. I've kind of been a social butterfly, hanging out with a bunch of different sort of friend groups, and but I've always stayed with my core robotics group, and I've always been very grateful for knowing them.
great. And you said you're president of
GSA, yeah, so the Gay
GSA.
Straight Alliance.
Okay.
I joined that sophomore year as well, in the abundance of clubs I joined that year. And became really good friends with Adam, who was the president at the time. He was a senior. And so he left at the end of the year. And then last year, I was co-president with Amaya. So I was a junior, she was a senior, but she went to Warren Tech. And so especially in the second semester, she couldn't really do the club as much. So I pretty much ran a lot of the club. And this year I just ran it all by myself. And it's a really easygoing social club. So it's not too much work to run, and I probably could be doing a lot more. But for the small underground community we have, it's really fun, and it gives a. I'm just trying to supply that sort of same social outlet that introduced me to a bunch of my friends at these kids' age, who we get a lot of sophomores, a lot of a lot of freshmen, so a lot of underclassmen who might not have as many social connections as they do yet, and so I think GSA is a great way to establish that.
And then how do you plan on, like it sounds like because this sense of community with GSA has given you an outlet and a place of community again and
Yeah.
security maybe at the building. And what I'm kind of hearing from you is that you want like the upcoming grades to be exposed to that same type of
Oh yeah.
community. which is to be involved with various activities at Ralston Valley?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to make friends at a new school is to get involved, is to go to clubs, join a sport, that sort of thing, because then you're forced to interact with people. And especially if you join something you love, like robotics, you'll find like-minded people who are automatically interested in the same things you are. And so although being gay or supporting gay people is like sort of a loose foundation for a friendship, it does create a sort of a community that a lot of people who join that club are really sweet, and it's a fun group to be around.
Oh,
and
that's
I'm
great.
going to be continuing that. I'm currently training the president for next year. And so although it's president, it's more of like a dictatorial society where I choose the next leader.
Okay.
But yeah,
But that
so
sounds like out of compassion and out of,
exactly, yeah. Because I think when you have sort of organized structure, a lot of it's if you don't get out there and encourage the kids to really go, a lot of them wouldn't go. Sometimes I'm literally walking through the halls, and I see a student who's gone to GSA sometimes, and I was like, "Hey, are you doing anything now?" And I like sometimes literally drag them to GSA, like, "Come on, we're going to GSA," and a lot of them usually have a lot of fun when they get there. But it's sort of like, oh, I don't know if I want to go to that social event. Like, I kind of want to stay here. It might be awkward. There might not be anyone. So having a central figurehead who is always like chipper and trying to get people involved, I think, is a great way to encourage students to also get involved.
yeah.
And so having a central leader will really help out with that.
How many students are currently involved with GSA?
So on and off, I'd say about 10.
Uh-huh.
We usually get about 3 or 4 people per meeting, so it's kind of small. We don't really advertise ourselves that much. A lot of it is word of mouth, and part of that's by design. We are kind of, I say underground jokingly, but we're kind of just a club where we meet every week for about 10 minutes on Tuesdays, and we plan social events. Like we had a movie night the other a week. We're gonna go see Love, Simon, the new gay movie that's coming out over spring break, and we do like breakfast, and we do some like light political activism, like we wrote letters to Betsy DeVos in the Senate and that sort of thing. But it's just really meant to be a very casual club, so you don't have to come to every meeting. But when you do, we're always happy to have you.
Right, wonderful.
Yeah.
And did I hear something about the robotics club going to nationals?
Oh yeah. So it's typically regionals, but
Regionals,
we've gone
okay.
to regionals 3 years, which have been 3 years I've done it. We've improved every year. The first year at a state level, we got second place, followed by I think it was like 14th or something in regionals. And you can't go beyond regionals. Regionals is the end all be all. Last year we got first place, I believe. I don't want to get that wrong, but we did improve last year. Yeah, I think we got first place at a state level, and then we did rather well at the national regionals level. And this year we definitely got first place at the state level, and we actually got first place at the regionals level as well. There's 2 categories you can get first place in: the BEST program, which stands for Boosting Engineering, STEM, and Technology, and it's like your booth, your marketing presentation, your overall like enthusiasm, your community outreach, and then there's the actual physical competition, which knocking down cups, winning points, that sort of thing. So we got first place in the BEST competition, which I was really proud of, and second place in the robotics competition.
That's
And
fantastic.
it's such a great experience, because if anyone listens to this and they're not sure about joining robotics, I don't know anything about coding. Like no one trusts me with a saw. Like you don't have to be like a engineer or a coder or a programmer to really go and understand and have a lot of fun at this. Like I write the notebook. I am really good. I have great communication skills, and I'm really good at writing. So I wrote our engineering notebook, and I designed that every year. You can also design the T-shirts. You can help out with the marketing outreach. You can give presentations. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of people and a diversity of people who can be on the robotics team. And I think that's something that's so conductive to a good friend group, when it's not just one kind of person.
Right,
So,
that makes sense. Where were regionals this past year?
so the first 2 years it was actually in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Scenic Fort Smith, Arkansas. But this year in Colorado, the BEST program is what it's called. It's been growing so much that we are actually our own regional hub now. So the regions are slowly being divided up. So now it's like all of Colorado, a little bit of Arizona, Utah, and Wyoming. And eventually, we think the BEST program is going to grow so much that we can have a nationals program. Because right now there's like a California hub, there's this hub here, there's still the hub in Arkansas,
Okay.
but we're just sort of trying to expand to a point where it makes sense to have a national competition.
Oh,
where
that's
we really have
great.
enough people.
That's great.
So yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
sounds like your experience at Ralston Valley because of these clubs, GSA and the robotics club, is kind of gets you like up and going in the morning, like
Oh
you're
yeah.
excited to come to school every day.
Yeah.
Are there things that you would want to change for future classes at Ralston Valley?
I've been overall very satisfied with my experience. A lot of different choices I would have made are personal, but I feel like MMP is a good way to introduce new students in the school. So I like that, but I kind of feel like a sort of extension of that throughout freshman year. Just sort of, and not even like a one student's in charge of like half a dozen kids or whatever, just really encouraging students to join clubs and to get out there and to be active. And like in announcements, teachers doing that, because the only reason I joined robotics is because Mr. Gauze came, I was in his engineering class, and he came into the class and said, hey, you guys would probably be interested in robotics. We're having a meeting later this week. You guys should come. And so half the time, the announcements you can't hear because kids are talking during the class. So if teachers know their students rather well. So if they identify a student and say, hey, I think you'd be great for GSA. I think you'd be great for chess club. I think you'd be great for football. I think that sort of encouragement from teachers will help students to really find their niche and to find their friend group.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, great. Anything else?
Stay positive. Life's a roller coaster.
Nice.